Hello, I hope you are all well and allowing mindfulness to seep through your thinking. Now, before you form a perception that this is a series on mindfulness, let me quickly say that it is not. Welcome to the series called ReClaim Your Genius, which is part of the ThinkStack program. Here we speak on everything related to cognitive, specifically if it is formulated, impacted, influenced, disrupted, or built using principles of cognitive psychology. We will always, keyword always, extend its relation to us as individuals or as a larger part of we as social animals. For now, let me introduce myself. I am Gaganbir and I am the creator of the ThinkStack. From a technical definition, the ThinkStack is a revolutionary cognitive breakthrough framework that enables people to understand the state of flux and allows them to reclaim their patterns. Patterns that have inherently been built and designed on the cognitive build they choose. Imagine this, you choose your cognitive build. Of course, more details will be available on the website. In this series, I would be speaking on a variety of topics which have the utmost effect on us as individuals and the scenarios that we face around us. It could be as simple as a word that creates transient and contextual thinking, or could be deeper to delve into cognitive biases. I would then go on to expand its implication and influence in real world situations, be it within complex organizations, disasters, and even pandemics. Yes, I'm referring to the COVID 19 situation, a pandemic which has pulled the rug out of our feet for so many of us. And the only reason this is important is because any framework needs a context to really seep in. Without a context, it allows rapid perceptive inferences to be drawn up that sometimes can be quite incorrect. I want this to be used by you in the most technically correct form of your understanding. Yep, form and not prescriptive techniques, because free form allows us to creatively build, yet allows it to be controllable. Now, you will wonder in these millions of hours of videos that are available today, why would subscription to this be useful? Oh, well, this is first all about you. And no, it's not cliche because with it comes over 23 years of profound experience wherein I have led significant multi-million dollar transformations, enabling organizations to be more agile, adaptive, and above all, imbibe the sense of understanding their core beliefs to help them transform inside out. All this change has always been with people at the core, the one single component which everyone says they understand but never really know how to capitalize on the strength to make real change stick. This is why the framework and the tools within it become significantly important. Now you can imagine that in the last 23 years of working in global corporates and specifically with people, I would have withstood as well as handled every kind of change. Change created extrinsically or change that resulted from pure inward motivation or what I would describe intrinsically motivated to potentially make a sustainable high impact difference. Yep, you heard right, potentially, because that in my opinion is a deep word. We would of course cover it more in another episode of the series. In all the change that I handled, one thing that stuck out as a common pattern was its relation to the culture flux of an organization. The deeper the connection of an individual, the more rigid the culture flux of an organization becomes. Think of it as muscle memory, but within your brain cells. Every little action in this flux reinforces the flux in a direction, mostly random, but nevertheless in a direction. Keep repeating similar complex behaviors, and you create a turgid flux that becomes complex and overtly slow to react. Now you're getting the gist. Let me expand this further by creating a scenario. Ever wondered why mature organizations die, especially when faced with extrinsic change at a striking pace that not only outpaces them, but has the organization struggling to keep afloat? Sounds familiar? Some of the world's leading brands, names in telecom, retail, automotive, manufacturing, virtually every industrial segment has had its share of losses. 7 words. Turgid culture flux impacts pace of change. Just like everything else, they all have a rational explanation, but then all rational explanations are literally judgments made on the past for the present. I will repeat that again. All rational explanations are literally judgments made on the past for the present. Think about it. Now let's flip the side and make it a bit more interesting. Organizations that do survive or break through all had something in common: a strong, defining metaphysical plane that bred their existence and allowed them to recreate. And if it did not, they died. Sounds quite overpowering and also makes you struggle with the concept metaphysical. Don't worry, we'll have a host of sessions around this, but let me leave you with a defining controversy. Does the metaphysical shift? Can that actually happen? It's another point to think about, after all. But let me lead the controversy and say the answer is yes. It can be redefined constructively. Let me sharpen that further. Proactively recreated. And all it needs is an essence. There is a method to this rational madness, after all. Now you may ask why understanding this flux is important. It's really simple. Imagine organizations having a way to measure the flux, to actually understand the source of inertia and understand the placebos they will have to trigger. And we can go deeper. Imagine you able to understand your own flux, your belief systems that measure the reaction, and all the little controls that establish inertia to a change. Now imagine being able to change this. Powerful? So flux, or rather a culture flux, is important because it shapes the identity of the organizations. It's a living being, and it's also the biggest cause of building inertia and change. Let me take a step back momentarily. A little more than a decade ago, when I was often confounded with the fundamentals of change and why change always met so much inertia, I was like you, in a constant space of experimentation. A lot of experimentation. The direct result of this, like a lot of you, was gaining knowledge through books, seminars, teaching, classes, social media, change gurus, and even change coaches. But somehow the shares I received always operated in one single plane and dimension, at the most two. This for me was never a complete change, and it never really sank in. Reason being that we search for balance, rather we continually strive for balance. A momentary second exists and then it's gone. We continue with our strive for that perennial point of existence wherein balance is bliss. Let me make it easier. The perennial balance. Nope, it's not happening. And I nor anybody else can offer that because the source of the balance remains within us. If we are striving for balance, then how could we find that balance? Quite antagonistic, isn't it? We are moving, shaping, shifting, transforming, and we are searching for balance. But there was a net result. I began to research, a lot of research, and realized that organizations often work in planes. These planes could be stacked into an imaginative, incomplete 3D object, but they never really achieved a shape. And if it did have a form, it never really could represent or create a culture within this 3D form. The reason for creating a 3D form was quite profound. Because at the simplest level, it had to represent the core of our thinking structure, the identity that makes us. And in that us, it had to allow us to be represented in a form, a measurable form within the planes. That started a profound journey, a journey of discovery. As we continue together, you will find a lot of that journey being shared. Remember, I did say context. You get it? Now let me leave you with an image of a 3D shape. Imagine a tetrahedron, also called a triangular pyramid for some of you. Four equilateral triangular planes in perfect balance with points of unison giving you a shape that looks the same from any direction. Beautiful, isn't it? Now let me expand your imagination further. Four planes, each representative of a set of you. Your metaphysical, emotional, rational, and decision-making planes forming this balanced shape. Embedded within this lies your unique flux, touching each facet in the form of a sphere. Now imagine the sphere as the balance point, that eternal, unattainable point, yet an achievable balance point. This is your ThinkStack, your unique signature that you truly own. The power of this series is that it will help you understand a brief about the various elements of each of these planes and help you better understand what each one of them entail to help you understand your flux. In a nutshell, you and I will go on a journey of discovery of the four planes that makes us, rather you and me, because we are distinctly different yet connected. Sweetly unique, isn't it? But a word of caution. This is not a training class, nor an attempt to offer you a certification, nor the extended invitation of making you an expert. For that, we require far deeper dives, learning and establishing the core of our planes. Yep, there is a lot of analytics and cognitive build out, breakthrough sessions that one requires to go through. So, exercise caution. At the end of the session, I will definitely say this is a class of contextual relevance. So, keep joining. Every video will teach you the power of ThinkStack and its relation to daily life, be it work, play, even at a point of nothing. Yes, there is a point of nothing. Intriguing, isn't it? Another way to keep a watch out for. So click on the subscribe button and keep watching the space. Here, learning matters. So till the next build out, reclaim yourself, reclaim your genius. Gagan Signing off.